I'm Brian Rice with Vinson's Reliability Solutions Group, and today I'd like to give you a brief overview of Emerson's new AMS Asset Monitor. So here's the actual rotor kit itself that's basically just a source of vibration into our two accelerometers that are connected into the asset monitor. Here we have the actual asset monitor itself, which is very small, lightweight, about 20 pounds, easy for one person to install. We can actually even make this a wireless communications installation by use of this Phoenix Contact wireless module. And lastly, what we have is the onboard browser-based software interface connection. So now as we open up the asset monitor, for those familiar with our DeltaV charms technology, you'll see that here. These first charms are the piezoelectric or vibration or accelerometer input charms. We can also bring in temperatures though, whether that's an RTD or a thermocouple. We can also have a digital in, a digital out. And one really nice thing about asset monitors, we can bring in a 4 to 20 milliamp signal. So we're not just limited to vibration only measurements. The other nice thing about asset monitors, we can not only have the charms technology, but we actually have built-in analytics in the processor. So onboard things that can tell us about machine conditions such as imbalance, misalignment, bearing defects, gear mesh frequency, a lot of very specific machine conditions. So as we move into the software that's actually onboard browser-based software part of the asset monitor, you'll actually see we're just using Chrome here for our browser, and we've typed in the IP address to connect to the asset monitor. So there's no additional cost for this software. It's part of the hardware itself. So obviously we have an overall dashboard to show us the status of the asset health. As we're running the rotor kit, if I happen to bump the table, you'll actually see that the color changes from healthy to unhealthy. As we move on, we'll drill into the actual charms tab. So here you will see the same charms that we saw inside the box. These two that are green are the charms we have fully configured for the two accelerometers connected to our rotor kit. These two that are blue, we actually intentionally did not fully configure that, so that's the reason why those are showing as blue. And then as we move on, the remaining charms are unconfigured, and again, you'll see that those are all the same as what we saw inside the box with the piezoelectric, the temperature inputs, the digital in, the digital out, and the 4 to 20 milliamp. The other nice thing here is that these quantities and types of charms can actually be configured for each specific application. And so now as we move into the asset tab, you'll see we spent some time to actually build a rotor kit. And as we drill into that, you'll see two portions here. You'll see this analytics portion of the screen, but then you'll also see the measurements. So this is actually the measurement from the accelerometers themselves. And if I bump the table as our rotor kit's running, I actually input some vibration, and you'll see those alarm values get broken and some warnings pop up. But I think the thing that I like most about asset monitor is this actual built-in analytics portion, which gives us actual specific machine conditions such as air cap, balance, looseness, misalignment, bearing, lubrication health. So more than just an actual overall measurement value, it's actually telling us some specific machine conditions that we can do something about. So as we move down the rest of the tabs, you'll see this output logics tab, which lets us do some if-then or Boolean algebra on our discrete output. We also have an alerts tab here, which shows us some of the history of each charm's history and trends. Obviously, there's a user tab, which will just show us admin being logged in, which is how we're logged in. And then the overall system tab, which mostly here I would point out just the IP address. So again, all of this software we're seeing is just built into the asset monitor natively. So at this point, what we're going to actually do is take this rotor kit that has been perfectly balanced, and we're going to intentionally build in some imbalance by placing this piece of clay on the wheel. And once we do that, get it in place, we'll actually close our safety guard, we'll turn the machine on, and we'll let it come up to speed and see what the asset monitor actually shows us as far as being able to pick up this machine condition. So as it's coming up to speed, you'll see the green flashing light here will actually turn to red pretty quickly, and our software interface will also change from green to advise. And as we drill into the software, we'll actually see that that specific condition is showing here. So we'll refresh our analytics tab. And as that's refreshing, you'll actually note that the measurements tab actually shows a higher reading specifically on the one accelerometer closest to the imbalance, and that's in the yellow, which is an alarm setting we've programmed in. But more than that, the analytics tab now is actually refreshed, and it's actually showing us imbalance conditions specifically, and you'll notice a 28% asset health on balance. So this would actually give a maintenance personnel specific things they can do as far as balancing the machine, and that would actually return it to a green asset health. So that concludes our overview of Emerson's new AMS Asset Monitor, and we appreciate you taking the time to watch. If you'd like to discuss your specific application or to get a quote, please feel free to reach out to me at my contact information shown below.